and 14 of the Conference USSSA podcast. So, a lot to go through. Let's quickly do our introductions. We'll start with our familiar faces. We've got Mr. Joel Sanchez, shortstop for S&E in the house. We've got the sway of softball, Mr. DW, all things media conference, USSSA.com. And what is that hat, DW, today? What is that hat?
OC Swats. I was cleaning out my closet. I found the OC Swats. I found the Houston, Save Houston, when they got flooded down there, that Leaf created to as a fundraiser.
Got it. That's our added segment every show now is the DW fashion show. So perfect. And then we've got Mr. Jason Magnum, catcher for Monster Swings DeMarini, and making his hit and sit debut today is Mr. Leaf Nemo, who plays for Anarchy and also is their head honcho in that marketing and design area. Welcome, Leaf, to the show. All right, so we're going to kick it right off here with the Kansas City Major Review, right? So the summary here really quickly. Monsta, there he is right there, Mr. Monsta, beats Rismondo twice on walk-offs. But I think the more drama, and DW, if you want to just maybe highlight this real quick before we get into the questions here, is that there's a couple jumps that happened here during the tournament. And, it was really interesting. It really came down to the last week about who was going to make the Major World Series. And we had a couple ins, or we had an in and we had an out. So you want to tell us really quickly about that, and then we'll get into the questions?
Right. I'll just do my part of it here. My notes on the tournament. It was Monsta's fourth tournament win of the season. Smash It, Rismondo, and now Monsta have 4 tournament wins, all of them. MPT has 3, and they won their last 3 that they were in. So when you think about it, it's probably the most even year we've ever seen at the major level, at least in 2 decades. All major teams have a winning record now against each other, except for Smash It, who's 8-11. So like Rismondo has a winning record by 1 game, Monsta winning record by 1 game, Smash It a winning record by 1 game. So it's so even at the top. Primetime got their first top 4 finish of the year, and they had to finish 3rd or better to make the major. They jump into the top 18 on points. They bump out Cut 4 Sports, who had a bad weekend. And give credit to Cut 4. It's their first year in the conference, and they almost made the major in their first year. A couple things. I noticed Performance Glass from Missouri got re-rated to B. Could be a pretty good B team there. And then the last thing was Rock Run seemed to be using their whole team this weekend, like the bench and everything. Maybe they were just giving those guys, a tournament to play. But Eric Lehman, their pitcher, and Jeremy Fry, their middle guy, they were sitting the bench most of the weekend. So I don't know if that was to get other players in, to save those guys, or whether they're nursing some injuries there. So that's an interesting tidbit.
I believe Fry had an injury to his hand at the ASA.
Injury. Okay, interesting. Couple things on that really quickly. One thing on Performance Glass is that team, which is a solid non-conference B team, they had a lot of roster changes throughout the year. So certain tournaments, they'd add a lot of players that were more A guys. Do you know what I mean? So it's more of a B team in general. So
yeah.
They were solid. But yeah, it was, very exciting when it comes down to last weekend. I think we talked about that like in the NFL a lot, where teams are making the playoffs or not on the last weekend. You don't want it decided in July or August. It's kind of exciting to come down to the last moment. So primetime's in. LNS Glass stays in, barely. Got to 18. Cut 4 is out. Let's start with the champ right here, Mr. Jason Magnum. The champ is in the house. First of all, tell us a little bit about the weekend, but also give us a health update. I think you had a little situation going on?
Yeah, I pulled a hammy trying to look for 2 Friday night. So I watched everything Saturday and just had a good weekend of watching softball, man. It was exciting. Still Lewis wasn't there for us. We had EK making his debut on the mound for us. He came up big, killed it all weekend. And I think we were rolling, man. We got behind Rismondo about 20. But like we always do, man, we talk a little junk, we have a good time, and we fight back, man. That's what we do, man. 5th inning below, that's when we come alive. So overall, it was a great weekend, and congratulations to Tony and Primetime and Mike Williams and all them boys right there, man. They stepped up, did what they supposed to do, and man, good for them, man.
Yeah, for sure. And that was, by the way, I hate to say that primetime was my choice to slip in last week, but there it was. I said to do that and then pay off all the other teams and make sure I got it right. So congratulations, Jason. Got to be a great momentum builder for you guys to get that W, beating Rismondo twice, going now into the major. So that's what it's all about for you guys coming up next, for sure.
Man, you know what was weird about that game? Like, it was just so quiet. Like, neither team really cared. It was like one of the weirdest games we played in a long time. Even though like it was the winners bracket final, like there was really, it's like the teams were going through the motions. There wasn't like no intensity. So I don't even know if it was like a good moral win. It's just you want to put your foot on your opponent's throat every time. And but not to take anything away from them, like it seemed like everybody was just going through the motions this weekend. Like there was no intensity, there was no fire, and whoever won was gonna win.
Saving maybe the fire for the world. Maybe it's like the 1980 Olympics when Russia played U.S. before the Olympics in that exhibition game. Do you know what I mean? So you never know how it's going to go. But now saving the intensity for the world. We'll just go with that. Leaf, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You know, walk through this weekend. Obviously came up a little bit short, but tell us a bit about that. And also looking ahead to A World. And of course, we got to hear your rebuttal for Nitro Circus. And got to hear about that as well.
Sure. Well, you know, again, we did come up just short. It wasn't for a lack of trying on our part. In fact, I'd like to rip my whole right shoulder off this weekend, playing against that damn Rock Run team because they're all hustle, and I wasn't gonna let them out hustle me. And well, J-Mag was giving me a hard time this weekend about one of my guys not hustling, and I thought he was talking about me. And I said, well, I ripped my shoulder off in that first game, so I resorted to coaching and just, you know, leading from the bench. And tell you what, we didn't make the major, but some really neat things happened this weekend. And before I get into all that, I'm going to tip my hat to Primetime too. The guys have been at it for a long time. They knew what they had to do. And this is by far, in my opinion, the best Primetime team that I've seen on both sides of the ball. They're playing really good. So they're going to be a contender at the A. You know, everybody wants to talk about Anarchy. Everybody wants to talk about Nitro Circus. But who they better look out for is Primetime, because ain't nobody talking about them. And the team's dangerous when they're under the radar like that. So, and you know, again, ultimately we would have loved to make the major. That's why we were there, to give ourselves a chance. But I did get to witness Brandon Streets do something pretty unselfish. He was sitting on the batting title at an 841, could have sat the last game. Everybody in the complex wanted him to sit the last game. The fourth place game, apparently all of a sudden, miraculously, we're testing bats, and we got 5 bats to swing when the bucket came back, none of which were Streets' bats. He had every excuse not to play. He didn't want to make the decision, but I looked at him and I said, hey, we're here to make the major. What you've done is great, and nobody's going to be able to take that hitting title away from you, but I need you in the lineup to give us the best chance at winning. And everybody will respect you, succeed or fail, if you go out there and put it on the line. And he did. And so I was really happy for him. Both him and Talia actually winning the hitting titles for men's and women's this weekend. So, again, a little bit of a bummer we didn't make the major. I played in enough of them. I wanted it for my guys that haven't played in it before. And I'm also excited about some of the teams playing in and the players playing in it for the first time. So all good things.
Very cool. And Leaf, I got a quick follow-up question. Something just kind of thought about this with the Anarchy this year. There's obviously been, you know, ups, downs, lefts, rights, right, with the team. Do you think that, you know, I know you've noticed that there's been there's players added, you've had a lot of roster turnover throughout the year. Obviously you have your core, but there's been a lot of new guys kind of in and out and different things that's going on. Do you think that's messed at all with the chemistry of the team, or is it one of those things where it's like, okay, we're just trying to get the right chemistry. Now do you feel like you have it?
Yes. You know, something to be said about where we're at right now. We're peaking at the right time. Mm-hmm. You know, we struggled early on. Half of our team were rookies. They won the B last year as a smash hit team, but we all know that conference is a different style of ball. It's a different pace. It's a different intensity. You know, these games are marathons. They're battles. And then when you get to the fifth, you know, things change drastically. And these guys weren't, I mean, some of the guys were deer caught in headlights. And one of the guys walked up to me at the duel and goes, does everybody hit the ball this hard? And that's when I knew I was in for a long season. I was like, I got some guys that haven't seen a ball hit at them like this. This is going to be tricky. But with the moves we've made to get better, along with that, so has the chemistry, because a lot of those moves included veterans. And so now what we look like is a group of veterans with a few new guys. And I think that we're just really playing the best ball we've played all year. And I think we got a puncher's chance at the A World.
Yeah, I think a very dangerous team going into A Worlds for sure. DW, I know you kind of offered your input here. Did you have anything else that worth pointing out going into Worlds as well?
Yeah, a couple of things. I actually think Primetime's team, when they had Messer and Bill Cullen a couple of years ago, yeah, you can't beat that team. That they finished second at the A Worlds and forced the IF game. They were pretty good. But David, you're the host, so we got to ask you questions too. Like you guys fought Rismondo for 7 innings. You had to hammer at the end. Tell us about how that went.
Yeah, I mean, it was, this weekend for us was about just getting ready for B World and A World. But I'm saying getting ready for that, getting games in, because I didn't want to go, long period without it, and getting in there. And that's what we were playing for, is to get ready. And it definitely accomplished that goal. So we took care of our first round team, which was Hype. That was a local team that we played. And then we played Rismondo. And, when you're a B team playing Rismondo, any of the major teams, you're just trying to extend the game, right? You want to play as well as you possibly can, and you want to play as many innings as you possibly can, and see what can happen, right? And to go all 7 with them, final score, I believe, was it 36-31, was in the final there. I was just very proud of our guys and our compete level. Like, no one looked big leagued. No one was getting too high, too low. And I think that's a big thing our teams learned throughout the year, is just having that kind of, I don't want to say quiet confidence, but just everyone is ready to pick each other up on this. So to go there and lose in honestly, a very close game against them, I think just bodes very well. And we hit 13 out of our 14 home runs. They hit 14. It was just a good hitting display by us. And, I think it's weird to lose a game and feel good about it.
Yeah.
It's like something I'm not used to in sports, and it's something I've gotten used to. You never want to get used to losing. You never want to lose to anybody, but it's one of those you walk away, you're like, hey, feel good about this. And the next day we had a pretty tight game against Addictive too. They ended up beating us, another team that's qualified for the Major World Series, and that was a game where they just kind of jumped up and were trying to catch up. But I am very optimistic and very happy with our effort going ahead into next week.
For sure. I think that was your most impressive game of the season, even though it was a loss. A chance with the hammer in the bottom of the 7th against Rismondo and the round of 16. You guys took a step forward for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I feel the same way. I appreciate you asking that for sure. Joel, weekend off, hanging out. What did you do on the off weekend? Anything exciting?
I played a little tourney with a couple of guys from SNE. We played a little bit. We wanted to get a couple swings in. It wasn't everybody, but it was everybody who could make the little trip. Went down to South Carolina, but I got a little late looking at Kansas City, because we were all supposed to go initially, and then I see you guys lose barely to Rismondo, and I was just like, oh my! I could just picture you power walking naked through the outfield, that you guys beat them, just losing your mind. And then I'm like, oh my God, I got to deal with this guy when I get on the podcast. And we're like, but nah, man, it's a thing. It's a thing. I remember I first got to the conference, and the first time we beat him and we're shaking hands, we're like, did we win? No. And bro, sure enough, like, hey, that was a hell of a showing. Like, I was really, really impressed. And then I saw your boys from Hub's Pub beat Proton, and I was like, we're like, dang.
Well, it was more like Photon. Was that Proton or was it Photon? I don't know.
You almost had it. And then sure enough, I'm not sure what Magnum was talking about, but Rismondo kind of put up one by 30 in that first game of the double dip. Maybe you were going through the motions, but those dudes were out of blood. Those dudes were trying to kill you, and you guys are just like, we got it. And then 5 with that game-winning single, I'm just like, you guys are way cooler than I am, because I would have been like, we almost lost. Like, no, you guys are smooth. You guys might feel like even keel, but those dudes were out for you guys. Like, they hear you every podcast, and they're like, you got it. Taking notes.
That is a fact. They do hear it.
They do. They do. No, I appreciate that. I
But look
appreciate
at his face.
that. Was
Do
good
I
to
look-
watch.
Do I look worried what they hear?
Never.
Absolutely not.
Not once. No, I'll worry for you. Don't worry about it. Go back to the catcher spot. I got you.
Hey,
I'll take all
Joel.
the-
Joel, we can say where you went. You went to the NSA Nationals. Was that the top
I went
NSA
to
tournament in the
the
country?
super national NSA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
that-
guys won it. Who did you play? Anybody we know?
We played Chick-fil-A,
Big play.
the double A team. Then we played, I believe it was Epic.
hmm
Epic went out there to go play them, and those dudes are all like, I play with a bunch of those dudes coming up. Like it was like almost like a nostalgic little game. But the squad that I had was just like, I thought Jason Martell was ready to collect Social Security, but he out hit all of us. And then and then Freddie, besides shooting Blade 1, 2, and 3, that dude was remarkable in center. He was spectacular. That dude is amazing. He's always been something I've always looked up to. And then Rocco Baldo, my other favorite big brother. So it's just like
Hold on. Tell me how Rocks weekend went.
his first 2 at-bats, 3 at-bats, first 2 at-bats, I believe. I believe he passed home plate. And that's it. That's as far as it went. But he turned to me and he goes, I only hit when it matters. Sure enough, we don't have any bombs. Hey, it's double. And he comes back and he goes, and I go, fake it till you make it, huh? That's how you gotta do it. Sometimes that's how you just gotta do it. You just gotta do it. And I was thoroughly impressed. Aaron Miller made an appearance as my 5-man. I've never had a chance to play with him. I always played against him, and I always MF'd him up and down the infield. But he's still smooth like butter on a skillet. Like, that dude's incredible, So that was fun.
Well, I'm glad it was it's interesting that I feel like this was a weekend where if you weren't playing, you were playing, if you will. If you weren't playing in the last chance, you had to play somewhere. I think a lot of guys getting ready for it. So I'm glad you got a chance to get out there, Joel. And speaking of that, let's talk Major World Series. Here we go. The bracket done, ready to go. And I think what we're going to do here, this is going to be kind of fun, is we're going to go kind of down the line here. And we're going to go through every first round matchup at the major. And we're going to start with a different guy on each game to give your quick thoughts on it. And then we'll go around the room and kind of do predictions by game. When you're on the podcast here, you live by the sword, die by the sword. When you get there, you're going to be hearing it from everybody. Teams you pick, teams you don't pick. That's how it goes. Fun about it. So let's start it with you with the LNS Glass Ball 4 game. Let's start there.
USSSA Major World Series coming to you October 5th through the 8th, I believe it is. 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks from today, we start. Could be one of the best. On paper, it's one of the best majors ever. Let's be honest. And you can watch it all on USSSAlive.com. We're going to have play-by-play guys alongside people that have been on the Hit and Sit show and some other people from the players from the game. So check it out. We're going to try to announce each game. LNS Glass, your 18 seed, California A team, Beaufort, Alabama A team. They've been there before. LNS, this might be their first Major World Series ever. I'd have to check on that. I took some notes here. What starters are going to be there, right? When you're a California A team and you're coming in the previous week to play A, you're usually missing guys for the major. So that's going to be tough for LNS Glass. LNS has the least power in the A division, least amount of home run frequency. The player to watch on their team is the longtime center fielder Tyler Esplin. He's been fun to watch over the years. He usually makes some great plays. They need the power of Jason Crosland, hasn't been there the whole season, so hopefully he's there. Beaufort is 9 spots higher in the computer rankings. They're 9-5 versus A teams. Players to watch: Zach Ross, Billy Sanders, an up-and-coming power hitter. Justin Luthern's had a big year offensively the last couple of years and helped Marodi's win the AA a few years ago with a walk-off. Jason Gilfillan brings some veteran stadium hitting presence to ball forward, and their shortstop's the guy to watch. Michael Rayner, hope I'm saying that right, has had a big year offensively and defensively. I'm taking ball forward. What do you guys think?
All right, let's go around the room here. So we'll start. Joel, just give us your quick. Who's your pick in this game?
LNS Glass, welcome. That's a huge honor, by the way. Maybe their first major. We keep forgetting that's a thing to make the major. It's one of those things where it's just like, hey, bro, great job. And I used to be like, what do we? I'm just going to that tournament. It's like, no, you need to qualify to make that tournament. But I'm going with DW ball 4. Michael Rayner, he was with me when we were turnkey. That sunshine, bro, he's awesome. I thought he was mute for the first 3 tournaments I played with him. He doesn't say anything, but he just shows it on the field. And Gilfillan, yeah, he has a couple tennis balls on his walker, but he has a cannon. He will throw you out from all the way from the parking lot. No problem. And like you said, Mr. Lutheran, that dude drops bombs. That dude is there to drop bombs. So I'm taking ball 4.
Ball forward and tennis balls on the walker. I like that reference. All right, Jason, who are you going with?
Man, I like LS's pitcher. He's got the good little eye black and all that stuff going on. And then they got my boy Tank Top over there, Taylor. So, but I'm going to go with ball 4, man. They got too much veteran leadership. Gilly, my old teammate, man, I love him. I think he's a great leader, and I think he'll have ball 4 tuned up, ready to roll.
All right, going ball forward. Leaf, who do you got?
It's going to sound silly, but it's hard to go against ball 4 and their veteran leadership. I love the LNS story. I do. I got a lot of buddies over there, Tank Top Taylor and the pitcher as well. Tomasi, I've known that dude forever. They got some good young guys over there too, but you're not going to overcome the power and the veterans that is ball 4. It's going to be ball forward. It's probably going to be in a short game.
Okay, going ball forward. All right. You know what? I'm gonna go the other way here, just because you guys all went that way. I'm going Glass on this one. Reason for it, I'm gonna give a reason, not just to be different, even though that is a reason. Is one, I think it's gonna be a good game, and I think it can really go either way. I do see, and I know ball forward is a very good team, and has some very good players, but I saw also some chaos amongst them this weekend in Kansas City. They did not play well, and they were very frustrated about it. Now, that could go one way or the other of the major. Might fuel on fire, fizzle. So I'm going to go with the upset in this one. Unless Glass. Let's go to the second game here, featuring a hit and sit podcaster himself, Mr. Joel Sanchez. We'll start with you on this one. It's number 10, S&E, taking on number 7, Precision. So the battle of AA teams. Joel, what can you share about this? I feel like you're not going to go with Precision in this one, but let's go.
You don't do that on purpose?
We'll go around the room.
Yo, Precision, we played them twice. And both times, the first time we got run ruled. I think we didn't score more than 4 runs. And the second time we played them, we scored 43 runs. And they scored 47. I think that's the only game I've ever been a part of where I scored 43 runs and I lost. Like that was something. But my team, still put us there. Like, you're gonna go head to head with the best middle infield there, and then you're gonna go head to head with another best outfield there. Well, really, it's just one outfielder against our 3. But I'm just saying. And then you got that Tommy Melton, all he had to do was go to AA to start hitting. My man, there you go. You're one of those people. You just say, you got to do what you got to do. But they, dude, that team has been molly-whopping major teams left and right, no problem. I want to see what they're about in the major. They got to go through us first, but I'm still picking us. I feel like we come out on top of now.
Yeah, that's gonna be a really interesting first round matchup. DW, what's your thoughts on this, on S&E Precision, the battle of AA's here in the first round?
What a great matchup. Early in the morning, I believe. Now, don't forget, those balls, stadium balls, they sit underneath the stadium in the air conditioning where it's cool. And that first game is a high-scoring game. Usually. We'll see what happens. But is Mike Jacobson healthy? He looked pretty healthy at the USA for the USA national team at pitcher for Precision. They got Heath Barnes to watch. Of course, S&E's loaded with young talent. Both teams fun to watch. I'm actually going to take Jacobson and Precision to win.
All right, DW
close
go in Precision. Leaf.
Home team means something.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think you got to drill down a little bit further. I think you got to look at who finishes where in the AA.
Yeah.
Okay. So either team is very capable of being there on the I guess it's a Sunday for the AA. But that takes a lot out of your team. So
Monday night.
Then you turn around and you start the major. Precision is a team that has notoriously done well at the major. But you know what? I really like the S&E group. I like their youth and athleticism. It's going to come down to who hits. It's going to come down to who hits because you're not better than S&E. If S&E can hit with them, so I'm going to go with S&E. Joel, I'm going to throw you a little bone here. 2017, when we won the AA.
Oh no, we ain't talking about that. Let's get out. Let's
Hold on. I'm just going to remind something real quick. You weren't there yet. You weren't there yet. Just
I was there. I was watching.
Well, Precision beat us every time we played them the entire season, and when we went to play them in the championship, we had to double dip them. Matty McGowan reminded Todd at the time at the coin flip that, hey man, we haven't beat you all year, and they were cooked at that point because Todd lost his mind. He said, don't say that, don't say that, don't say that. So just I'm gonna throw that there at you, take it, receive it, push it back.
17.
Yeah, well, just tell them. Just when you get up there to the coin flip, just say, hey, we haven't beat you all year.
Perfect. Get him right in the mind.
Extreme.
All right. Well, the mind games start now, my friends. Start now. J Mags, who you got in this matchup?
Man, I had Nemo. I still remember Nemo hitting them home runs in them games, man. I don't want to talk about that. Let's move on. But nah, all jokes aside, man, S&E's got this awesome shortstop dude with a messed up haircut. He's a pretty good guy. My boy Joel. So I just want to boost him up before I tear him down right here. I ain't going against Precision. Precision's the family. That's my team. You got TK. You got Brad Tabler. You got Hausman. You got all the vets. You got, Heath Barnes, Jeff Kesky, Austin Andrews. Their defense up the middle. They're going to cover a lot of ground on that stadium and take away a lot of gaps. They got the best coach in the game in Todd Ankley, man, and I'm going to go Precision, man. I feel like they've been on fire at the end of the season. They always kind of click towards this way. Todd gears them up. And with that, I just think Precision. I'm going to go with my heart, and I'm going Precision.
All right, going Precision. I'm going to last prediction here. For me, I've watched Joel, watch your team from the very beginning of the year. I remember watching you guys absolutely smash it in Vegas to start the year. And then it's been a little up and down depending on the year. Depending on how's it's gone throughout the year here. But I got to go with S&E in this one. I think you guys are due for a run. I think Leaf made a really good point that almost made me think things about how's the AA going to go. That could always play a huge factor in this as well. But I'm going with Mr. Joel, and I'm going with S&E in this one. So that's my pick. Let's roll along to the next game here. Leaf, this is going to be you taking the command of this one. We've got number 17, Primetime, newcomer to the Major World Series, not overall, meaning currently as a week ago into the Major World Series for 2022, not their first time in the Major World Series, versus Addictive, who is an 18 from Texas, and they've been a team that's been up there all year. So, Leaf, tell us what we have going on there.
I feel like y'all did this on purpose. First with Joel having to pick against his team or with his team, and then now I got a team from Texas who naturally I should pull for, right? Because that's what you're supposed to do, and it is their first year in the conference, I believe, and as well making the major. So, a credit to them. However, having played against them and having played against Primetime, Primetime is a team, like I said, that I feel like one of the best teams that they've had, and I don't think Addictive can overcome their ability on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. That being said, Addictive's got some pop. They've got some pop. They got some young kids that are coming up, but it might be a deer caught headlights moment for them, and I think Primetime pulls away from them in the end.
All right, so going prime time. J Mags, what's your choice?
Man, I'm gonna be honest. I've only played Addictive once. I don't think the game lasted that long, so I really don't know much about him. But I do know about Primetime, and I'm gonna go Primetime, man. I'm gonna go with my boys, man. A lot of them from down my way. I see them all the time. Play backyards with them. Play against them a few times, and I think they're gonna be my dark horse at the A. And I'm gonna go Primetime for the upset.
All right, prime time and going prime time on the upset. Joel, what do you have? Prime time versus Addictive, 17 versus 16.
Oh, that one's tough. That'll be like a fun little game to watch. You know, prime time will always automatic score you 18 to 20 runs every game. You don't score more than that, they already scored theirs and they'll beat you. Boom, no problem. However, and then on top of that, Mr. Roderick, that guy's super underrated, possibly overlooked. I'm not sure how much credit he gets, but I really think, like, if I ever had to pick a guy to pitch for me, he's a bulldog, and he's going to pitch you that whole game, and he's going to pitch you all 19 games, and he's going to out-hit everybody put together, and with all those dreads, he'll outrun everybody put together. But Addictive, it's a lot of pop. That's Competitive Edge's little brother. It can go two ways. They either lock up because they're so happy to be at the major, or they just so happen to be like, it's the major, and they don't know what to do with themselves. So it's like that one's kind of tough. I mean, I guess because of the experience, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna go a little dark horse here. I'm gonna go a little Addictive. You know, go Addictive. Their first batter, Elijah, I have a little soft spot for him. That's like one of my little brothers. I love that guy. You know, so it's just like I think Addictive. I think once they hear their Suncoasts in the stadium, they'll get a little hype and then they'll start going off.
Going Addictive. All right. I thought you were going one way and you shifted another way on us, Joe. Well, keeping us on the edge of our seats. DW, what do you have in this 17-16 cup?
Yeah, all the games so far are really 50-50, even the S&E versus Precision game. This one's even, dead even. Who's going to be there? Who played a bunch of games going into it? Primetime has the offense. They need to play well defensively. They open up big innings when they make errors. I am hearing Chris Scott won't be there. He's their leading hitter and their lefty power. I think he's got to work, he said. Addictive picked up Mario Morales, David Baer, Keith McCormick in the last month. Those are some good pickups. What that does to the chemistry, I don't know. Cody Schumacher's the power guy to watch on that team from Texas. Both teams are 7-4 versus A. It's an even game. Addictive, it'll be all new to them. Primetime's been there before. Maybe they're just happy to be there. I don't know. I'm going with Addictive by a run.
Addictive by a run. I've had the pleasure of playing both these teams this year, Prime and Addictive, so I've gotten a good look and also watched them play a fair amount of times. I do agree this is going to be a good competitive game. I'm going to have to go with Primetime, though, in this one. I think the veteran leadership there, I think a combination. I really wouldn't be surprised if this goes either way, but Primetime is going to be my pick for this one. So let's keep rolling along here. We're going to go now to a battle of AA teams again. This is the 11 seed Classic Glass and the 6 seed Chick-fil-A. So we got 11 Classic Glass versus number 6 Chick-fil-A. Let's start with you, Mr. Jason Magnum, on this one. Classic Glass, Chick-fil-A. Who do you have and why?
Man, I'm gonna go Chick-fil-A, man. I've seen their team a bunch. I haven't really seen Classic Glass that often, but I have played Chick-fil-A a few times this year, and they played before us, and I've got to check them out. I think they're built for it. They got a bunch of big dudes over there. They got some pop. They got some power. They got good defense, and I'm gonna go Chick-fil-A.
All right, Chick-fil-A. One for Chick-fil-A. DW, who do you have?
Yeah, this is the 10:45 a.m. game Wednesday morning. Last year, I have to say, Chick-fil-A looked pretty good early on, but it was almost like some of their players who hadn't played all year, they gave them the starts and stuff like that. Are they going to do that again this year? Or are they going to go with their starters? I think they're going with their starters. I'm going to take Chick-fil-A. An interesting battle here. Juan Castaneda at shortstop was a Rookie of the Year candidate until he tailed off a little bit for Classic Glass. He's one to watch. And then I just forgot I forgot the shortstop for Chick-fil-A. Help me out. Trey Porter,
Trey, yeah,
lead
Trey.
off. He's a leadoff and a shortstop for Chick-fil-A. He's the offensive engine, and like Magnum said, they got the stadium power to win. I'm going with Chick-fil-A.
All right, Chick-fil-A. Leaf, who do you have?
Again, really comes down to, I mean, it's easy to say, you know, one way or the other until you think about who goes on a run in the AA. Now, I will say this. We've played both teams. We have beaten Chick-fil-A every time we've played them. Not bad for a trash A team. Since I kind of skipped over that earlier, thought I'd come back to that. And but we've yet to beat Classic Glass this year. So with that being said, I think that Classic's pop will probably carry them as long as, again, another team from California. Is everybody there, right? So, but my gut tells me Classic will outslug the Chick-fil-A team. I'm going to go Classic.
All right, going with Classic. Joel, who do you have?
I have lost to Chick-fil-A every single time, close enough to start boycotting Chick-fil-A for real. Like, I'm sick of losing to those dudes. But I have like, you know, like even though we play them and we lose all the time, I still have great respect for everybody there down the line. I got Cliff, he was there for my first ever tourney. Angles, it's always good to see all those dudes. Cash, you got the Shiflet, you got everybody. But then you got Sean, then you got Jonesy over there in Classic Glass, and then you got, I call him the ex-wife, Mr. Greg Downey. Never have anything good to say, but everyone still laughs. Like, I don't know, Classic Glass has way too much pop. Those Ramirez dudes over there, they're there to drop bombs. And in the stadium, like, unless Chick-fil-A pretends like they're playing us, like, I don't see them coming out on top against Classic Glass. There's too much pop, so I'm going to go Classic Glass.
Going Classic Glass. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, this is two organizations that are hard to root against.
Yeah.
Both of them. Two very well-ran, respected ones that people, you know, there's plenty that we could say about a lot. Can't really say too many bad things about Classic Glass or Chick-fil-A. Either one of those organizations, great. Both have great guys on them. I'm just with my gut on this one. I'm going to say maybe the hammer makes a bit of a difference in this game. And I think I'm going to go with Chick-fil-A this one out. That's going to be my prediction. So we were kind of split there on that one, maybe more than some of the other games, which then brings us to this. This is going to be a really interesting one. The 9-8 game, which is Nitro Circus team versus double game. Quite an interesting matchup here, to say the least. A lot going on with a lot of these teams, you know, behind the scenes, meaning like they've been talked about a lot going on there. Boy, this is a tough one on this one. I'm going to have to go. I'm picking Nitro Circus in this one. I'm thinking that I obviously Proton, a very skilled team, very much at the high part of the AA division, but I don't know why. I feel like Griner and Nitro Circus, they find a way to grind this one out, and they pull a little upset on Proton. So I'm going with Nitro Circus. Joel, what do you think?
I believe this is our first AA versus major matchup. Yeah, I know what I said. I know what I said.
I got you.
So
I got you.
What happens is, I think
That's a good one.
Nitro Circus jumps out on top, but Proton has too much pop. There's too much Proton action going on there. John Nelson, he's gonna knock that whole batter's eye off. Like, I confuse it. I keep thinking there's two people in the batter's box when he's there. So it's just there's too much pop there. I think Nitro Circus has they have a pretty good run. I can see them if they get like one or two real good innings I could see them, but Proton, especially with my boy Tyler Dickens over there, he's doing his job. I love that dude. They call him the great value Scott Hartling. So he's doing it big over there. Yeah. So I'm gonna go Proton. I'm gonna go Proton over there.
Okay. Going Proton. All right, Leaf, what do you think? Circus A versus Proton AA, or is Joe calls them Proton?
Yeah, well, again, I'm going to cue this one up. Nitro Circus being the AA team that they are. I keep pointing this out. I feel like it's beating a dead horse, but Proton playing the AA. The AA ends right before the major. Obviously, Nitro is probably going to play AA, I'm sure. I don't think it's that hard to choose. I mean, yeah, there's some really good guys over there at the Nitro Circus team. One of the things I've heard out of their camp is that their outfield's not fast enough. Now you're playing on the stadium. You're playing against veteran hitters that is Proton with Mullins and Big John and those guys. I've got Proton in this one. Too much power, too much experience at that level. I think it's Proton there.
All right, going Proton. DW, who do you have?
Yeah, so this game's at noon on Wednesday. Nitro Circus is 7-4 versus AA teams this year, so beating AA is no problem for them. Is Greinert healthy? He's had like a shoulder or bicep or some sort of injury all year. Is he healthy? Does Tom Bloom, who's their second best power hitter, does his power translate to the stadium? I don't know. We haven't seen him too much on the baseball fields. Will Nitro have all their players? And let's not forget Proton. Correct me if I'm wrong. They won duel number 2, or they finished second at the Hall of Fame.
They finished like top 3.
No,
Second.
we won that first duel.
Okay, so they finished second to Monster.
Right.
So they're very capable of playing well on the stadium field. I'm taking Proton.
All right. J Mags, who you have?
As Lee Nemo says, you got to dig a little deeper in this one. If Nitro wins the A, against all the other trash teams, as he said, and runs through the A, they're going to be high. I don't know what's going on with Proton, but I mean, they had a lot of dudes that didn't even know they were playing until a day or two before the tournament came up. So I don't know what's going on with the organization, how organized it is. And as a player, if it gets unorganized, then it as crazy as it sounds, it affects your play on the ground, right? It just causes something within the team that you just really can't explain. But organization is always great, man, being organized. So with that being said, if both teams come out, we'll probably know which way Proton is by the time the AA starts. So if they come out and have a bad weekend, then things in the organization ain't right. And I would go with Nitro. But if Proton comes out firing on all cylinders, I'm going to go Proton, man. Chad Mullins, Stevie Edwards, Big John. I mean, Brad London, that's just way too much power on that stadium. In the Major World Series where the big boys come out and play, power wins. So I'm going to go Proton.
All right, going Proton. All right, got it. So now we're almost to the second half of the bracket, and we're going to go, I think, even a little faster through this part as well. Make sure, because we have a 2-part extravaganza today, but we still have a lot to cover. This is episode 13. Just a reminder that you're going to be able to tune in episode 14 with the same cast is going to be coming soon with some new topics as well. So let's go here, DW. We've got the 12-5 matchup, West Point versus Competitive Edge.
Yeah, another afternoon matchup. The weather's supposed to be cool, like high of 83 as of now for the whole week, a high of 83, which means mornings and evenings are going to be cooler, possibly, if there's no storm coming in. West Point, 12 seed, they got their work cut out for them. They did average 24.4 runs per 7 innings this year, tops in the A division. They were 6-7 versus AA teams, so they are a threat. Travis Dale at shortstop. He knows how to hit and get on base. Brandon Yoder in center field covers a bunch of ground. They got 4 lefties in a row in the middle of the lineup. Competitive Edge, they're the AA team we all think is going to challenge the major teams at the major. They have the depth. They can play tired, as we've seen. So playing AA on Monday isn't a big deal for them. They're 24-5 versus A teams. I'm taking Competitive Edge.
Competitive Edge. Can't believe it. All right, there we go. Competitive Edge. Who do you have in this matchup?
It's Competitive Edge here. West Point's a good team. Got some good ball players over there. Competitive Edge is too strong, too deep. They pound the ball. Competitive Edge, probably in a short game here.
All right, so going Comp Edge and not close. Joel, what do you have?
I want to say West Point so bad. just because it reminds you of that honey badger fighting the lion video, and the lion's like, well, I don't want to really like mess with this thing really, but like what the like that, like if West Point comes out like a little tweaky, you know, like maybe like frustrate him, start hitting it down the line, make him chase everything in the gaps, maybe, but no, man, those they're gonna sound like bombs going off in the stadium at that time. Yeah, we're gonna go competitive edge on that one.
Comp edge. J Mags, who you have?
Man, I want to say Kenny Kane so bad.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm gonna go with that major team, man. I'm gonna go competitive edge, man. Like, you know.
Yeah,
you
you
know,
go with the fifth and sixth major team this year. You know.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go see.
Yeah, comp edge, and and by the way, I've played both these teams this year. West Point does have pop. Do you know what I mean? Which is going to, be good for them, but it's just going to be too much to overcome against competitive edge. Just too much. And by the way, West Point's in that nice spot where they could probably play loose, with probably most people being able to pick competitive edge. You never know if they could keep it closer, but got to go with competitive edge in this one for sure. So competitive edge, first sweep, I think, across the board here of picks in this game. Maybe that'll motivate West Point. They'll be rolling in it. We'll see what happens there. Let's go into one that's a very interesting matchup. We're going to start with you, Joel, on this one. This is number 13, Rock Run B. Resmondo. So we got versus Resmondo. Who are you going with?
This would be the Eli Manning to Tom Brady's Achilles heel right here. If the Rock Run can beat the Resmondo in the stadium with the stadiums, I think you might as well just hand it to them. You might as well, like, they won the major. Here you go. Boom. We just stop and just throw a giant festival for the rest of the week. I want so bad say Rock Run, but Resmondo's got. I really think, for real though, on a serious note, if Rock Run can get home team, I feel like they could like come back slowly and get their numbers in, but at the same time, then it goes off to like, what if Resmondo puts up 30 like in the first 30 seconds, So it's just like, and plus I don't think Resmondo wants another condensed version of them losing in the stadium, So it's just like, woof. I'm going to have to go Resmondo on that one. I don't see them sleeping for the second time.
All right, Resmondo. And DW, correct me if I'm wrong on this, by the way, that Rock Run is 2-0 versus Resmondo this year. Is that right? Okay. And was that one?
Exactly.
One in the stadium?
They've never beaten Rock Run. Let's not forget that. And Rock Run beat them to open the Hall of Fame Classic Duel number 1 in the stadium, which was an incredible win.
What was the score of that game?
1-2.
21.
Well, I'll go back. Yeah, we'll go back and get that.
21-15 if I had to guess. But the question is, which way is the wind blowing? If it's blowing towards the right corner or in, Rock Run definitely has a chance. Resmondo's never beaten them, but Resmondo in October. Let's not forget Albuquerque last year. Now they were a AA team. They beat MPT, then they beat Dan Smith, then they dropped to the losers bracket and beat MPT again. So major teams can be upset.
But you're going Resmondo on that one?
Yeah.
Going with Resmondo. All right, yeah. The final on that one, by the way, was 22-21 at the Hall of Fame Duel Rock Run. That was just an FYI. I'll give my quick thoughts on it. I think it's going to be difficult to go against a healthy Resmondo with them in the stadium now. With Resmondo with pretty much all their guys back after they've been battling some injuries this year. And also, this is going to be, Rock Run's 9,000th game in a row. As well, because they're playing B, A. I guess if they can let them play C and D, they'd probably play that too. And senior, I'm not sure if they're trying to play everything.
I think just B and A.
They're not playing AA. Okay, but still, B, A, major, a lot of ball. And obviously those people don't really get tired. Run, but I got to go with Resi in this one, so I'm going Resi. Leaf, who you going with?
All the stats, all the numbers, and all that good stuff don't really mean anything in the stadium in October, honestly. And there's no way that Brett Helmer and that crew is going to get upset in that stadium or they might as well pack their stuff and just leave because Brett will just absolutely destroy them all. It's Resmondo. I love the Rock Run story. I do. I am like one of their biggest fans. They should be an A team and they shouldn't be punished for being a B team legitimately. And I wish them all the best, but I think the stadium is just too much for them. Granted, they did it in the stadium, but not in October, not against a healthy and a hungry Resmondo.
Yep. So, J Mags, what's your thoughts on this one?
Oh man, what are we talking about? Put some respect on Resmondo's name right now. I mean, I like Right Run, okay, whatever, but man, we talking Resmondo, man. Resmondo will be there at the end. That's what they do. I don't care if it was April, it's not October, So whatever happened in April, that don't mean nothing, man. Resmondo by a lot, short game.
Resmondo by a lot. All right, so Resi across the board there in that one. Jason, let's stick with you for this while we're there. Then you've got the play-in game coming to you. So you've got either Beaufort or LNS Glass, depending on which way that one falls, taking on number 2 Monster. So any insight you could give on this? I feel like you're not going to pick against yourself on this one, but any insights you can talk about going into this first game for you guys?
I think we'll be fully healthy and we'll be rocking ready to roll, and it'll be a short game. I don't care who they put in front of us that weekend. It's going to be we're on a mission as a team, and you either lay down and stay down. That's my motto that weekend.
So someone's getting on the tracks when the train's coming through on that one.
Yeah.
So I got it, according to J Mags. Leaf, what's your take on that? So you got the play-in winner taking on Monster.
Who's pitching that weekend?
It could be Vince, it could be EK, it could be Foamy, it could be Austin Dahl. We don't reveal our secrets.
It wouldn't matter.
It
wouldn't matter if you was pitching, J Mag. I got you guys in the short game there. That Monster team is not only good, but they're hungry. You can see it. I don't know what that if game, whatever, or the championship game this weekend, zero indications. We played against you guys. We took one inning off, and before we knew it, we were packing our bags in the 5th. There's just too many young, hungry individuals over there on that Monster team. Guys have a chip on your shoulder. I know some of you have a bigger reason to do it, and I think it's not just you guys in the landslide here. I think it's you guys in the end too. So I got Monster here setting the tone for the weekend.
All right, Joel, who do you have in this one?
Once upon a time, if I won my first game and you won your first game, we were going to play, and we ended up losing to the same Cup 4 team. So I don't want to hear this about, oh no, if we have to play ball 4 because you guys lost to ball 4, we're going to lose to ball 4. Like, that's what's going to happen. Don't sleep if, let's say, who I pick is ball 4. Because last year, the year before, when the super duper Dan Smith, the super team of all time, ball 4 went to a 4-man and beat that Dan Smith in the stadium.
Oh, Tommy Ball.
That was crazy. Like, up was down and down was up. Like, I couldn't get a hold of myself on that live. You guys better win. You guys better win at least in 3. I'm just saying. Monster in 3.
All right, Monster. DW, what do you have there?
Yeah, Monster, Vitsak, if he pitches, he's the one that beat those 3 major teams last year with a double-A. He was on a double-A team at the time. If Kennedy pitches, maybe the wind's blowing out to right. They pitch Kennedy because he's got left-handed power. Doesn't matter. Monster wins against Beaufort or LNS Glass. But I just want to say the guy to watch, Daniel Caton, he's probably got the most range of any middle infielder possibly. He may have the best arm of any middle infielder, and he's playing best offensively of anybody in the country. So if he's not the best player in the game, he's playing like he's the best player in the game right now. So Monster, I've been with them all year. I'm picking Monster.
Yeah, I've got nothing much to add except for Monster in a hurry in that one. So I'm gonna go with that one. We got 2 games left here. So let's go over to you, Lee, for this one. You got the other play-in winner, so it's going to be either Addictive or Primetime, then taking on the number 1 seed. They've hung on to it. Smash It. So what's your kind of take on that one?
Yeah, they're gonna either one of those teams, Addictive or Primetime, is gonna run into a buzzsaw. Smash It's gonna handle their business. They're gonna set the tone for themselves that weekend, and that'll be a warm-up game for them. Smash It in a short game.
All right, Smash It in a short game. J Mags, we got.
Man, I noticed the running joke, but Andy ain't losing the first game of his last year of conference, right? Even though we know we'll see old Andy next year, but this is the last year. But no way. Smash It big. AC World Series. He steps up. That's what he does. The rest of the crew, Riley, Everett Williams, Andy. Enough said. Smash It.
All right, go and Smash It. Joel, who do you have?
If Primetime or Addictive had more stadium power, I might. Because you got Roccabaldo, you got the great Everett, and then you got Mr. Buddy Wolf himself. But I see Smash It. I see Smash It coming on top. Yeah, just might. It's not like a full blown smash. Like they're not gonna tear him up or anything like that. But they'll beat him. I don't see them. I think Josh Riley's ready to. I think he's ready to perform in the stadium. I think that's his bread and butter right there. That's his wheelhouse. So I think Smash It.
All right, so Smash It. Smash It. DW, who do you have?
Yeah, Smash It wins this game. It's the 8 o'clock game at night, so it's going to start getting dark. Ball's going to fly a little better. Purcell's going to get 2, 3, 4 guys to pop out in foul territory. It's for Addictive, so Smash It.
All right, Smash It. Yeah, I think it's hard to go against them. It's interesting that, Smash It might be sitting there with a little chip on their shoulder too, because I feel like, a lot of teams we talk about all the other teams, people are like, we're the number 1 seed. No one's talking about us. Everyone's talking about everyone else. And I feel like they might, be a little fueled by that anyway, but whether they're fueled or not by that, hard to go against them in that one. So I'm going Smash It. And that brings us to our final game, which is Bay Area 14 seed taking on MPT Rentals, who is the 3 seed. So you got some Mooch. You've got some other characters in this one. It's a character-filled matchup. Let's put it that way. MPT is going to have just too much pop. I'm going to start with that one. On that one, I just, in Bay Area, by the way, is a team that's gone the right way this year. They started very rough and kind of picked it up in the last few tournaments and has been playing way better second half of the season. I think we can all agree on that one, but it's going to be a tough one going against MPT in the stadium, unless, Mooch gives us a Cy Young somehow pulling it, but I'm going to go MPT in this one. DW, what do you have?
Yeah, Bay Area's, I found it hard to believe they made the major. They don't have the stadium power they need. MPT is going to have Mooch running for his life up the middle. It's going to be a run roll. MPT big time. All right, Vanilla Gorilla, what do you have on this one?
Yeah, I'm going to go MPT. Even though I know Carucci's, he's got his team over there in the mix. He's been calling everybody, been, just doing everything outside the box when he's got a team that's won 3 tournaments in a row. But, long as them distractions don't bother them guys, man, they should win big. Yep,
MPT. All right, Leaf, who do you have?
I'm just staring at this here. There's got to be a typo. It says Bay Area A. Did something happen? Did they get thrown in the trash can too?
Nope.
Does it say that?
Double A.
Trash can is big.
MPT. MPT. Bay Area. Too much turmoil this year. Too many moving parts, and MPT's playing really well. They're going to be tough to contend with. I don't know that they'll waste time trying to kill Mooch up the middle, but they might if they pull away from him early. But yeah, MPT. I got them in a short game here.
All right, MPT in a short game. Joel?
I think this might be one of the few games that you can put on another episode of Gangland. You got this whole South Central action, just you'll get a contact high walking by this dugout, and then you got whatever looks like in every prison movie, an episode of Oz against this. And there's blood in, blood out over here. So it's if MPT tries to get a stick measuring contest, and they just want to drop bombs and see who can hit the furthest, and they get slightly cocky, they can totally lose it. But like, I saw Ryan Harvey hit 3 grand slams, line drive, opposite field against me with my eyes. I saw it, and like, I don't see MPT losing unless they get extra turtle in the hair cocky.
Yeah, so MPT across the board here. All right, so that wraps up all our predictions here on that first round of the Major World Series. And by the way, if you're watching the show, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, whatever, love to hear your input. Let us know, who are your picks? Type them in below. What did we get right? What did we get wrong? What do you guys think? It would be very interesting to hear what you guys hear from on this. Now, our final question here, DW, and let me know if you want to modify this one, because we want to go full 6. You want to go the picks, who finishes the top 6.
Yeah, let's throw out our first. Let's throw out our first 6. I'll go first.
All right, you're going to go first? I don't know. DW will go. All right, here we go.
Monster plays MPT in the championship. Monster wins. 3rd is Smash It. 4th is Rismondo. Competitive Edge and Chick-fil-A. Those are my 6. I actually think one of the AA teams will finish in the top 4, but those are my picks.
Okay, you think, but you're not going to commit to it on paper. I got it. Okay, so that's DW's.
All right.
Yeah.
DW, you feeling all right? DW, you okay? Better freaking check. You all right?
He's pre-stressed
before
the major.
He's for Rismond.
He's pre-stressed.
We forgot like the past 2 years, Resmondo's gotten mollywopped several times by everybody and their mother, and then they win, and everyone forgets all that. So I'm gonna go Monster, okay? Then Rismondo, then MPT, then Smash It, and then SNE, and then Competitive Edge. But that's just me. Go ahead.
All right, got it. Leaf, what's your rundown?
So are we picking who we think is going to win all the way down,
top
or
6?
Just top 6?
Yep.
You're basically going, if you're going to give up the awards 1 through 6 in order.
I'm going to start from the bottom. I'm going to say Proton finishes 6th. Precision finishes 5th. Competitive Edge is your AA team, finished in 4th. 3rd's going to be Smash It, even though they got the 1 seed. And this is where it's tough for me. It's Rismondo in October, and it's a really hungry Monster team. I think you could flip a coin here. Do I have to pick one? Sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Rismondo because it's Rismondo in October. And I think that's going to be just enough gasoline to make Monster put a little extra on the gas pedal. It's going to be a great game to watch. But I really, truly believe it's going to be between them two. And I said it earlier and I say it again.
It'll be a shootout.
Yep.
But they're missing Magnum.
Nah, I'll be there.
Yeah, he'll be there. He ain't no way he ain't going to be there.
Nah, we'll cut this damn hamstring out.
Talking about Rismondo.
Yeah, I'm going Rismondo because it's October, but Rismondo and Monster will be in the championship, in my opinion.
In Monster in the championship, Rezzy pulls it out. J-Mags.
All right, I'm going to go Precision 6. Competitive Edge 5th. Let's see, Smash It 4th. And hell, it don't matter who's 3rd. Maybe Proton 3rd with a run. And then, I think this is gonna be the passing of the buck, man. This is gonna be this is gonna come down to who's the new big dog in softball. And I think I'm gonna take my team all day, man. And the only way to beat a man is you got to beat the man. So if it ain't, I want to play Rismondo in the championship. I want it to be us and Rismondo. I don't beat nobody else because I'm a firm believer they've dominated for ever since I've been playing softball. They've been the team to beat. And the only way to beat a man is beat the man. And that's what we're coming to do. So I got us over Rismondo.
All right, Monster over Rismondo in the final. So I'll wrap it with mine. I'm going to go a little bit different route here. But I think my championship, I've got MPT and Monster in the championship. And I think it's gonna be a very good game. I'm actually gonna go with my gut that I've gone with this year because both the teams are so good, and I hate to do it, but I'm gonna go with MPT taking it. So I got MPT at 1. I've got Monster at 2. I've got Rismondo at 3. I've got Competitive Edge at 4. I've got Smash It at 5, and I've got, ready for this one, wait for it, SNE slipping in there at 6th. That's going to be my prediction, or tied for 5th, whatever it might be in that one. So, folks, we're going to wrap up here this first of this 2-part series. And we're not going to do final thoughts on this one because we're going to go right next week. We're going to have final thoughts because we're going to have the same panelists ready to go. We're going to be talking about awards. We're going to be talking about predictions in the other divisions and all kinds of things like that here coming up on the next episode of the Hit and Sit Conference USSSA podcast. I want to thank Mr. Jason Magnum, Mr. Joel Sanchez, Mr. Leaf Nemo, Mr. DW, all for being here today for episode number 13. We're going to sign it off now, and make sure to tune in to part 2. Like, subscribe. You know the drill. We'll see you next time. Bye.